meeting to order. Board Member Manis. Here. Board Member Sorrell. Here. Board Member Evans. Here. Board Member Smith is here. Board Member Spencer.
Here.
First item on the agenda is revised Board of Education goals for Menifee County Conservation District. Ms. Judy Crowley.
Conservation District.
I said Conservation District. That's my office. I tell you what, I've said it 14,000 times.
I thought, wait a minute, maybe I'm not.
I answered my cell phone saying Menifee County Conservation District earlier.
Congratulations, Ms. Crowley, you got promoted. You have the.
It's quite the commute though. Okay, thank you all for being here.
It's Monday.
I know, everybody's had a Monday. I don't know if we'll take an hour and a half or not, don't know if it'll be an hour, but Greg wasn't here when we talked about the goals. I think everyone else was when we talked about this before in June.
I don't think
You weren't here either, okay. Well, great, so now you're all here, and all of you need to have a voice and provide some input on these goals, because they're gonna govern what you do and what you want to achieve for this school year, and maybe even longer. So we had a work session in June to talk about district goals, their importance, and basically I'm just going to do a real quick overview of what we talked about, and then we're going to talk about goals, and I've got some things to consider before we finalize those. But these district goals really just provide you with direction. Just like if you were getting out a paper map or getting out a GPS system, that provides you direction. These goals will provide direction for your school district, for your board, as you sit at the table and make decisions. If you've got something to work towards, it's much easier to make decisions when you can say, how is this going to help me get to where I want to be? And those goals will help you reach your mission. So it's very important for the school board particularly to know where you're headed, because if the board itself doesn't know where you're headed, it's very hard for the rest of the district and the community to step in behind you and follow you. You've got a lot of great things going on in the district, so you all need to make sure you know where you're headed, where you're going, and these goals should provide that direction for you. This is your mission statement. You've had it for several years now. You read it at your meetings. You have it on your handout. This mission statement just creates that common understanding about your schools and about your district. This is what you all are about. This is what you're trying to do. These are the boundaries, so to speak, of your work. You're not here to educate those beyond high school. You're here, K through 12, preschool through 12. You want the community to join in with you. You want to think outside the box. You want to make sure that there's instructional rigor and relevance, that what you're teaching is not only rigorous but important to the kids of Menifee County, because you want them to have the best quality of life as possible. So that was your mission statement. This mission statement will guide your goals. Goals are merely just statements about your desired outcome, what you want to see happen. They have one or more specific objectives. There are precise terms. Goals, we will see in just a second, need to be very specific. What you want to see happen, what's to be accomplished, and then how long or when this is going to be accomplished. These goals are important in providing focus for your district, setting direction, and most importantly, inspiring levels of energy, commitment, and purpose. This is what you all are all about, your goals and your mission. We want your goals to be powerful. We want them to be something that inspires and motivates not only the people in your district, the staff, but also the community. We want them to understand that you all want the best thing possible for your kids. You want your kids to be all that they can be. You want to make sure that your goals inspire and motivate. You want people to be involved. You don't want to do this on your own. You can't do it on your own. It takes this board team, all your staff, all your parents, all your students. It takes everybody in the community to make this work. So you want to make sure to motivate the rest of the community to join in your work. these goals should be challenging, but not defeating. You want to raise the bar, but you don't want to raise it so high that it's just morally, there's no way we can get there, so why bother? So you want to make sure that they're manageable. Captures the imagination. What's possible for your kids? Let's be innovative. Let's be creative when we set these goals. What do we want for our kids? And then they need to be measurable. How do you know when you're successful? How do you know when you've reached your goal? SMART goals, we talked about these a little bit. I think on our new accountability system, they even refer to SMART goals in districts. They're specific. Everyone should know exactly what you're going to achieve with that goal. It shouldn't be fuzzy. It should be very clearly stated, short, sweet, specific, to the point. Measurable to have a result or the outcome that's desired. Everyone should agree on it. You as a board team are going to set these goals. You all should agree that this is what is going to guide your work this year. They need to be realistic, relevant, fit within your mission, help you reach that mission. These are what needs to happen so that you can reach your mission. And time bound. When are we going to accomplish these? Some things will be accomplished this year, some may take longer. When you're setting your goals, you need to make sure that you understand and that everyone can clearly understand what the outcome is, what's the expectation, what do you want to accomplish with these goals. Identify what you want for the district and its students, clear, precise, concise, descriptive. Be ambitious but realistic. They should be few in number, easily understood by your neighbors. You should be able to rattle off at least a couple of them when you're standing in line at the grocery. Somebody talks to you about, so where Menifee County Schools really headed? What are we trying to do? You ought to be able to just roll a couple of these at least off the top of your head and understand why that's important and be able to tell people why it's important if it's not clearly understood. And again, challenging. They should be clearly described with action verbs. They shouldn't be processes or explanations of how to do something. It should be an action-oriented statement. Remember, the board's job is to determine what's going to happen, and it's the superintendent's staff's job to determine exactly how it's going to happen. Is the extent of the intended outcome defined? Do you know who's involved? Who is this about? Is it about all kids? Is it about a group of kids? And then what's the time frame for completion? Okay, so these are your district goals. And I was going through this again this afternoon, and I thought I really wanted to look at this slide first and then go back to that new accountability system slide. So let's look at this, and let's talk about the first three goals. By 2020, all students will graduate college and career ready for successful transition after high school. Does that still say what you want it to say? Does that still say what you all are going to do, what you want to see for your kids?
I hope it happens in, 2018.
Should we put and or
That's what I thought too.
instead
I
of both
thought
college
that
and
too.
career?
And slash or.
And slash or.
Just because
Okay.
we have some children who are not
Right.
want to go to college, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Slash or.
Yeah.
I'm not going to write the whole thing down,
Yeah.
I'll just write the changes. And or, career ready for successful transition after high school.
What percentage do we end up at this year?
Was it 70 something?
No, it wasn't.
Was
It was in the 60s.
60 something? Okay. I was gonna say.
Okay, so
Not
this
where
is
we want it to be.
17, 18.
No,
So
still
when
think
you all graduate
2020.
next year, it'll be 18. You want to leave it at 20, or do you need to put a number, or?
I think it should be attainable for 2020.
Yeah, just a few more years, yeah.
Our eighth graders are going to take ninth grade classes this year.
So we would just as create, we've got eighth graders doing ninth grade courses, we've got vertical alignment between the schools now, so we've got teachers in the K-8 building that has the same planning period as the high school staff members in those subject areas. So there's a lot of team alignment, collaboration with it, so I think it's feasible.
Increasing 10,
Okay.
15% every year, you're gonna be there.
Yeah, we'll be
Right.
there. Mhm.
We were only previous year, we were almost 80.
86, 82, 86, something like that, yeah.
So,
So you have got strategies in place already for this year and future years
Mhm.
that will help make that possible.
Mhm.
When you're sitting at the table making decisions about resources, that's a goal to fall back on. How is this gonna help us be sure that our graduates are college and or career ready? Okay? Everybody happy with that one?
Mhm. Yep.
that's why you bought a lot of the instructional material supplies. We currently, for the first time, we have a curriculum that is completely aligned with the standards and is also available online now. And also we have instructional support material. For instance, in the high school, we have Reading Plus for students that are not at grade level in reading. We have Alex for those students that are not meeting the benchmark in math. In elementary school, we have Go Math purchased for them to get them up to grade level. We have Fontes and Pinnell, SNAP, and those are all diagnostic tools to get kids to show us where they are, then what we need to do to get them to the next level. We've incorporated iReady, which is another diagnostic tool that also offers RTI intervention strategies. And I know I'm leaving a couple out, but anyway, there's a lot of things that have been that we have not had access to in the past, that we're now able to, teachers are able to do tier 1 instruction in their classroom, but they're also able to come back and do tier 2 and tier 3 instruction for those students that are not meeting the benchmark. And we now have diagnostic tools, and we have procedures in place to make sure that our staff understands how to read those diagnostic reports, making sure that they know what direction they need to go.
Do we also have, in those schools, there are also things to elevate the children that are on benchmark now to
That's
increase
what
the
iReady does, and it will also for those enrichment activities.
Mhm.
And that's one of the reasons that we utilize the services of Ms. Schwartz now, to be able to offer those gifted and talented
Okay.
services enrichment activities. So yeah, I think things are in place there, and those are things that you have purchased, that you've approved, if you've looked on your
Right.
invoices.
And they're not
So,
cheap, but they're worth
Is
it.
does it inspire, motivate, challenge? Is it creative, innovative?
It inspires and motivates, it might not be.
They may not be creative
but-
necessarily, but.
But hey, you don't have to be creative if you get the job done sometimes.
All right, I'm with you. Okay, all students will graduate college and or career ready for successful transition after high school.
Yeah, I think it's strict, but not too strict and attainable, you know?
Right. And after all students, that's our market, that's, who, those are our customers, that's who we want,
Yeah.
all students. They need to be able to be successful when they walk off
Considering
that
that a few
stage.
years ago, you were at 39%, you've made some improvements.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the second one. Inspire, motivate, challenge, capture the
Challenges.
imagination.
I don't know if it inspires,
I don't know
but
if
it
it
still
inspires,
makes
but
a
it's
good
still,
job, though.
yeah.
And
Well-
96 is the right number? 'Cause we're
I
up
think
at
so.
94.
We're 94 and a half right now.
Yeah.
We have been, we got really close to 95 last year.
I had someone ask me one time, why do y'all push attendance so much? And I said, well, for one, the kids do better on testing if they're there. Flat out better. I said, but do you realize that every time they're not there, the school district loses money? Well, then whenever budget cuts come and we're already losing money from that, that's when we have to do those types of things. But if children were in their classrooms all the time, they get better educations, and we ensure our funding. They're like, oh, I didn't realize that.
You know, I kind of see one side.
You can't learn if you're not there.
Exactly.
Well, and I think your attendance rate is going to be based upon your school culture. And if we keep hearing the buzz that is currently going throughout the community with the school, I think your school culture is improving.
And have you all recently put some policies in place regarding staff attendance, student attendance?
We have some, we just incorporated a staff policy. We're going to give some incentives for classified and certified staff members both. You put in a for a drawing for the other prize drawing.
That's good.
I think $1,000 for each certified or classified.
That'd be great.
Okay. So, second goal.
Motivate me too. That's an motivating.
Right.
It would
absolutely.
inspire me
One
to
of
be
our
here,
goals,
because I like,
but-
I like money, but
It'll motivate me, yeah.
Right. Okay, so that was good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, the third one, by 2020, all students at end of grades 3, 4, and 8 will have 0% novice based on iReady data. Challenging?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
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 Inspirational?
It would inspire me as a parent, knowing that if I had, that my kid, if it was going to your school, you was pretty much assuring me that they would be at least an apprentice or a proficient or distinguished level. That would inspire me as a parent. I don't know if it just jumps out of being inspiring.
Yeah.
Inspiring.
Yeah.
Motivational?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to kick butt.
Specific? Has a
Absolutely.
timeline?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to say, but in this one and the first one, by May of 2020? Or is just
Oh, I hadn't
2020?
thought about that.
The end of the
The
school
end
year?
of
I think that'd be fine.
the 20.
Add May?
End of May school year.
Yeah, because that gives you an additional, that gives you additional school year, really.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the first one and the third one.
So you're adding that on the, you said on the first one and the third one?
Yeah.
The first one and the third one.
At the end? How are you saying it?
I'm just saying by May 2020.
Gotcha.
Just like the second one.
Gotcha.
Mhm. Of course, we
Actually,
know.
all of these probably could say May 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you have the data, the novice?
The iReady data we will, 'cause that's the
Already.
data
Oh,
we
yeah,
have.
iReady data you
That's
would
what we
have.
do,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
We
right.
won't have the state test, but.
And iReady is the program that you're gonna be using.
That would be your diagnostic.
And the end of grades 3, 4, and 8. Is this reading and math?
Reading
Just
and math.
reading and
So if
math
you want to
both?
put reading and math
Do
in
you
there,
wanna
you
put
could.
reading and math in there?
I think it would be more specific, I think it would be related to the assessment. So yes, I would think so.
0% novice based on iReady math and reading data?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's ambitious.
And I think it's thinking out of the box because, a little bit, because, you know, you're gonna have to do science reading, you're gonna have to do social studies reading to have 0% novice in reading. And you're gonna have to be thinking about science, and you're gonna have to be thinking about social studies for it to be there in math.
Well, that's what I already assesses in, so that's pretty much.
Okay. Math, and we'll just add math and reading, iReady math and reading data. Okay.
It makes it a little bit more specific too, to the average person who's reading it. Maybe they don't understand what iReady is.
So far you've got college and career ready, being in school, and 0% novice. Those are three that you could just spout off very quickly if you need to ask, if you are asked. What are y'all really doing? Well, we're working on attendance, working on getting novice down to 0, and making sure that all kids are college and career ready. Okay, before we get to the next two, a couple things. After the meeting in June, I went to KDE and tried to find a list of the top 10 districts. There is no such critter out there. Even called KDE and said, so, you know, I've got districts and you all are the only one that want to be a top 10 district or top 2 or whatever. Where's that ranking? Well, there is no ranking. Some media did some ranking based on the total scores, but it wasn't something that KDE promoted or recommended or suggested. They said, you know, there were a lot of parameters that went into that total district score. And, you know, perhaps a better goal would be college or career readiness rate, graduation rate, K-prep score.
5-star or 3-star.
Well, Gene and I talked about proficient school, distinguished school too.
Well, are they not changing the title when you look at the accountability of how
Yes,
they?
and that's, if you go back a slide, and if you look at this sheet that you have, and we're not gonna spend any time on this now, but we will eventually. We'll spend a lot of time on this. This is the latest draft. It was July 21st. This is what the State Board of Education heard earlier this week, actually, or early last week, on this new accountability system. So there won't be districts of distinction, I don't think. I think you're gonna be rated as a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, right?
That's what my
Oh, okay.
understanding.
There are new indicators. Not only is there proficiency, there's growth, there's graduation rate, those we've all had, but we're gonna have transition readiness, and we're gonna have achievement gap we've had in the past. We're gonna have opportunity and access. And then we're gonna have a local measure, which is basically district SMART goals. They're gonna be looking to see if districts have goals and how are they working to meet those goals, have they been successful?
Well, bam, check that one off on us, we're doing great.
Exactly.
We gotta meet them.
That's right, we gotta meet them, but I mean, we have smart goals, and we're trying our best to get there.
One of the things on that is a little bit, is the opportunity and access, is of course, I met with Morehead State last week. We'll probably be putting in some more dual credit courses through Morehead, but also we're probably need to add the more need for advanced placement courses within the district, trying to utilize, that we are providing all of our enrichment kids with opportunities. So those are some of the things. That one's gonna be harder. We really gotta take a good look at that one.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
These are
But we can do it though.
These are just being introduced this year. They will be fully implemented in 18-19, so 17,
It's a transition year.
17-18 is when it's gonna happen.
Transition in 18-19 is when it will be implemented, from my understanding.
Okay. I think
I may be wrong, but now,
I think that's right.
this year's transition, I know that for sure.
Introduced in 16-17, used for the first time in 17-18, just as
Transition.
a guideline, just to, here's how you do
Trying to get
it.
everybody on track.
Not really held accountable at that point to those numbers, and then fully implemented 18-19 school year.
So do we need to put something like, you know, we wish to be a 4-star district or a 5-star district then? Implement those new
Well,
parameters?
and I don't know if we know enough about it at this point to do
Go ahead and
that.
change that.
Because again, this is a lot of the meat of it, but it's still in draft form. It will not be, I don't think it'll even be finalized until later in September, maybe even October.
Oh, because the state board tabled it, I think, didn't they? Are they gonna review it again in 2 weeks?
Yes, they made some changes. I don't know what those changes are. That's why this is still draft. So, we need to just talk about with the new language, some of the new language, if you want to look at changing those last 2 goals to say something different. I really wouldn't recommend you say a top 10 district, because there's really no way to find out who really is the top 10 district.
Maybe we want to pick just some of the indicators as we understand them now, like growth.
Well, graduation rate would be one definitely you could pick out.
But if we already have that goal by saying people are college and career ready,
Well, that's different than graduation rate though. Graduation rate's how many students start
actually start.
as freshmen and graduate college, or high school, I mean. Well, the problem with some of them is how to measure too, you know, like achievement gap. I guess you could use your testing for that, but we're already using testing for zero novice, which is already closing the
Right.
achievement gap, so.
I think for one of them, by 2022, you could Menifee will be a 5-star district. I think you could do that.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
Maybe a 3 stars, I don't know.
or maybe we could focus on, the first one here is proficiency, maybe we could do something about,
Based on this, do we have any idea how many stars we have now?
Oh, gosh.
It's hard, it's really, you can't even say that because of the new
There's no
additions.
comparison.
Opportunity and access
No way
and
How to figure
transition
that out.
readiness, you can't really correlate the old system and the new system.
I would think within 5 years, we should be, I mean, we should have ample opportunity to be at a 5-star.
You can't be a 5-star if you still have a significant gap issue.
What was Floyd Cameron's ranking?
They said they were a #1 district.
And what
Remember
they,
said
what they
that?
do, I mean, there's a gentleman out of Covington that generally generates those reports. And that's a report that goes across the whole entire state, and that's where those come from. And it's kind of become the gospel.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Because when Katie does, I mean, they don't rank them.
Yeah.
And then the newspapers will just go over that overall accountability score, and then they'll start going bottom 10, and they don't, they don't take a lot of the factors into account.
Where would we at on the latest list?
We're in the bottom, we're in the bottom 20,
Still?
yeah,
Based on the overall score.
based on the overall score.
Right. But yet, you could have had, you know, graduation rate could have been great, college and career readiness rate could have been really good.
We've
and
had
then-
pockets of really good
Right.
performance.
And then, but some of your K-prep scores weren't as good.
But what's really been hurting us is number 3.
The
It's
novice.
not an I-ready, but the number of novice students.
Right.
And that ties into the need for the curriculum that we've established and the programs that we put in place.
Okay, while you're thinking about all that, just a couple other things. This yellow sheet is just information, particularly on the front, that I wrote on, it's just notes from the flip chart paper that when we were asking those questions and writing down thoughts. And just, you might want to just look over those and see if there's anything there that we have not included in these goals that you think is important.
Okay. This feels awkward, so, you know, help me tweak it out. You know how if we have some of our instructors have a certain level of master's preparation, that they can offer
Dual credit
those
course.
dual credit courses within the school. You know, I think that, you know, that, or maybe having the goal of being able to offer 5 dual credit courses by 2020 might,
How many do we offer currently?
And we offer more than that now.
I thought so.
But if we could offer them on campus.
no,
Right now,
on
we're at-
campus, right?
On campus, okay.
Because what we do is we burn 40 minutes, 80 minutes of school a day for some, you know, for different students and for different things.
Would that be considered more of the how for that first goal?
Well, yeah, probably.
That's how you're making them ready
In
for
college and career
a
ready.
successful
That's true.
transition by offering more of those dual credits. You don't want to get into the weeds.
Right.
I wish there was some way you could write a goal that would be quantifiable about them being well-rounded, mature life skills. You know, one of the focuses, there's really no way to measure that one, but
Is there any
That's a goal of
student
mine.
well-being evaluations out there?
What's the
the
question?
TEL survey, probably the only thing as far as like
Student
how
well-being
things are going. but-
evaluations?
We have the KIP survey that we utilize, and then there'll be some surveys that will come out of the new OVAS information.
What's the KIP survey?
It's through the University of Louisville. Miss Hack, someone would have to explain it, but it kind of talks about student well-being. I can't, I don't have enough information to explain that one to you. I can get you more information, but
I
I
think
wouldn't
we
do it
would want
justice.
one of those measures to be.
I wouldn't do it justice
Yeah.
if I had to.
Yeah, so that's, you know, how do you measure and how do you prove that you're doing that goal? So if we could find something that would measure that.
And here's something else, you know, maybe there's no such beast as a top 10 school or a #1 school, but it is the idea. I mean, it is saying 5-star, you know, whether you measure it in in 5-star ratings or in, you know, according to the Courier Journal or according to the,
Yeah.
whoever those people are. and
We want to be a
like,
desirable school district, I guess
Yeah.
would be the way to say
You
it.
know,
I think after reading this, if you set your number 5 goal as being a 5-star, having a 5-star overall school
Overall
rating,
school rating.
I think that would be a very lofty goal. And I think it's attainable.
By 2022,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I do.
it's attainable.
For
Yeah.
school year.
But then, and all that ties in, when you start looking at this, in order for you to obtain that, you're gonna have to have those dual credit courses, you're gonna have to have access, you're gonna have to have gap closure, you're gonna have achievement growth.
Proficiency.
It kind of
So
covers
there's
it
a
all,
lot of
doesn't
things
it?
that's gonna cover the vast majority of
Mhm.
So what about just having 4 goals?
I'm fine with that.
Get
it.
rid
Well,
of
would you
the,
wanna put something in there pertaining to anything with finances or anything of that nature? I'm just, that you have a sound financial school district or a solvent school district that's, I'm just throwing things out to you.
well, and I mean, you know, solvency is about the kids. I
Or
mean,
would you
you
have
know,
something
kids
in here about a new
will lose their
school?
ability.
That's what
I was
Hard to
thinking the
say.
new school too.
we talked about the new school before.
Would that be something by 20, this is 2017, 18, by 2021 or something like that, to have a new K through 8
K through 8
elementary.
elementary. I'd be fine with that goal. 'Cause I think we're all working towards that. We've been working towards that for a while.
So we feeling like it's 2021 instead of 2020?
You know that you're not gonna start before the summer of 2018. So you're looking at probably at least 18 months for
I'd say
construction.
at least.
So, yeah, you're looking at 2021. I'm just trying to give us some,
Realistic.
I'm gonna push it.
Well, we
I
can
mean, I'm gonna-
revamp them if we need to, our goals anyway.
I hope
Well, if you reach it early, that's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
I hope
That's
that,
great.
I hope that this time next year that we are
Breaking ground.
working,
Mhm.
or maybe even beyond that stage.
If we pass the nickel tax, we ought to have that as a goal.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, that's true. Yeah, why don't we have that?
So number 4 being,
By
and
25.
then we have, and then 5. we're
You can leave it
five-star district.
2020, if that's what you wanna do, you can.
Well, I think it needs to be realistic. It's not gonna happen by
Because it's
2020.
a breathing space.
Yeah.
By 2021,
You can have a bad winter, you
Yeah,
can have a bad,
exactly. It could be something to delay something.
Menifee County will have
Brand new K, or just new K8
For
school building, brand new, brand spanking new. Education district.
K8 facility.
Facility, yeah.
have a state-of-the-art K-8 facility,
There
or
you
something
go.
like that.
21st century.
Yeah, there you
Ooh,
go.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
21st century. K8 school facility. Not to be confused with the bus garage.
Or on Greg's property.
Yeah.
By 2021, Menifee County will have a new 21st century K8 school facility.
I went and visited a piece of property on Thursday, and I left with 21 ticks that I found on me after I got home that
Oh,
afternoon.
wow.
Oh my gosh.
All of
That
them
just makes
been
me cry.
embedded or just
No.
found them?
Found 2 embedded,
Two
the
embedded.
rest of them were crawling.
Crawling.
Little
Oh.
bitty ones.
Little pinheads.
Oh, yeah, you can't see them
You know,
things.
those are, believe it or not, I hardly ever get those where I live.
Really?
If I get those, it's a big.
The big old deer
Big
head.
ones out there.
I'm hardly
Deer
ever
chicks
see
don't have to
those little
be
small.
The little ones are dangerous.
Yeah, I know, I've been hoping I've been feeling okay.
Just watch the slides.
Okay, is that challenging, inspirational?
Oh, I think
Oh,
definitely inspirational.
It's inspirational.
2021, Menifee County will have a new 21st century K8 school facility.
Yeah. And we won't.
You gonna
be
put
the-
operational in that, or do you think that that's?
It's
Yeah.
All right.
self-evident.
We're just gonna look at it.
Okay, on January 1, 2021. It better be open and working.
Absolutely.
We you wanna do, August 2021?
Or school, 21-22 school year?
You could say August 2021.
Yeah,
August
August.
2021.
If
we end up having-
I know.
August of 2021?
How many years
That
is
used to
that?
seem a long way down. Self-driving cars.
You think we can do it 2020?
Yeah, because I'm sitting here, this is 18, 19,
Yeah, but we don't get urgent needs
No,
money
this is
until,
17, 18.
17, 18.
till 18.
18, 19.
That's 2 full years
If you have bad weather, I mean.
If
Yeah,
that
let's
urgent-
shoot for the August 20.
Yeah.
plus. Okay, because you've got 3. The first 3 are really focused on student achievement. And as I think your report to the state board said, curriculum, instruction, and assessment. That's what you all are really focused on, and that's those top 3. We want our kids here and we want them learning. The next one is even further out, by 2021, have a new 21st century campus facility. And the last one?
We do the
Five-star.
five-star district, five-star overall school rating.
We're like Chrysler now, right? Ready for the 5-star rating?
Or Hilton Hotels.
I told her
you know.
something, came up with the 5.
Crash test rating.
So you, Mr. Spencer, you've heard more about this accountability system part than I have. So is it putting our goal out here to say that we want to be a 5-star? That
think
rating
that-
system is a
I
done
think that
deal.
rating system's pretty well done, I do.
Okay.
They may just revamp some of the
I think
measures.
there are some of the measurements in it may be different, but I think this is definitely what they're looking at,
Okay.
from all indications.
Okay.
Oh, I've been hearing that rating system. I've heard about 5 stars back in December.
Yeah,
Right.
because they want to go to the dashboard like the cars, remember
Right.
the odometer, the readings.
By 2022, Menifee will have an overall school rating.
I don't know. I just know that Menifee, or Morgantown, Hospital came in like, like 28 days, came in 26.
Of 5 stars.
That's pretty
We'll
good.
see, if we come in under budget, can we use that money for something else?
Possibly could.
As long as we don't have to.
We probably ought to put these
Yay!
Menifee County schools.
Well, the rest of them on the goals just say Menifee.
Yeah, they just say
Other
Menifee
than-
will be, or we could say Menifee schools, it would be no big deal.
Well, that's cool, I think 50.
Or we can really, since they're Menifee County Board and District goals, by 2022,
We will be, we could put
we
we
will have an
even.
overall school rating or we'll have an overall school rating of 5-star by 2022. Okay, we'll leave it like this.
So are we putting county in there?
Or just Menifee,
Which one are we doing?
what do y'all want? Clear, concise, it needs to be as clear as possible, so if somebody just picks these up,
Menifee County Schools is the clearest way to look at it then. Or you could even put all schools will be, that would work as well.
what, an overall school rating or district?
It said school over here, overall school ratings on the back.
The school. It's for a school. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Not necessarily the district?
I think the district's gonna have that as well. I think we're gonna
Is it?
have
It's gonna be.
overall district rating as well, from what I
Okay.
understand.
So if you have, but if you have 2 schools that are 3-star and 3 schools that are 5-star, then
I
what's
guess they'll
the
have a
next-
combination, I guess they'll have
A net of those, I guess.
let me go find out.
Average.
I can make a phone call, I know some, I'll tell you.
Or we could put overall
Let me try to
school
find-
ratings, plural, of 5 stars, if each school would be,
each school to have a
each school
5-star
a
rating?
5-star rating. We could rephrase it, you know, if he's not sure about the district portion part of it.
We can change that if we need to.
Yeah, absolutely, it can always be changed.
Mhm.
we could say by 2022, all Menifee County schools will
Mhm.
have an overall school rating of 5 stars.
Yep, I like that one, makes sense.
And then there's no question that the district would be 5 stars too
If all of the other schools are. I agree.
Okay, what else? Anything else? Or goal?
Okay, can we, so we don't know about the KIPP survey and whether that'll be, or if we want to use one of the surveys from Oveus. So we can't make a measurable whatever right now, can we revisit that?
Oh, yeah, we
Because
can redo our.
Because I really do think we want to put amount how the student overall well-being go in there. And, but I want it to be measurable.
Yeah.
And,
Well, we looked at some goals that, when we had that one meeting, and some of them were not measurable. And I suppose we could, if we really wanted to, put one in there that isn't, but it would be nice to be able to measure it as far as if we're hitting that goal or not.
Yeah, measurable is a good thing, and that's
Mhm.
what the state's gonna be looking for, the SMART goal.
but I think, it's just like testing to prove sometimes, I don't, it's not about the test, and this isn't about, sometimes about that. We really want student well-being and must super strive to make sure that everybody's alive at the end.
We just put goal number 6, love on all the babies in the county,
Yeah.
Love all the babies, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's love all the babies.
I think, I really believe those are more strategies under the other top 3.
Yeah. Right, so, yeah, that's why we're gonna
Because
have
it's-
something measurable, the KIPP survey or
Right.
the
Yeah.
Oveus surveys or
I
something.
think those
your
are great
students.
goals though we've got up there. I mean, if we keep our focus on their college and career readiness, then there's not gonna be hopefully time for them to do some of the other things. You know what I mean? If we're keeping our kids focused all the time that they're in there, and they're still getting the education, with all the bullying and all that kind of stuff too, hopefully maybe our rigorous instruction's gonna be so much it's gonna
Right.
keep them on track.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
how-
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I mean, that was totally a St. Agatha thing, when we would show up for 6th grade and all middle school orientation from that, those 3 years, they said, basically, what we're gonna do is, every middle schooler is trying out new social skills, and it all looks kind of messy, but we keep them so busy that they just show up on the other side of it going, wow, what happened?
Mhm.
And they did, I mean, there was,
Just kinda works itself out.
yeah, I mean, and I have to say, at least for one child it did, for the other child it didn't. So it's hard to keep everybody busy too.
There's so much that we don't have any control over. When
Yeah.
they leave home to go home, they still have their phone, they still have access to each other. We didn't have that growing up. You
Yeah.
have
See, I
school,
think,
you
I
left
think
it.
the more, the teachers can bust their chops, but I think a lot of it lies at home. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I
that
do,
it
I
does.
think a lot of it
It
lies
does.
at home,
I
which
do
is,
too.
and our teachers can beat
Well-
their head against the wall.
But I think we do, when kids are teachable in 4th and 5th grade, orienting them to being able to turn away from their technology and how important that is. Because once the hormonal pressure is in place to be very socially oriented, that those pieces of information are there. We've never told a child that they can leave their technology behind, that's appropriate. And that's what good kids do. Good kids turn off their technology and go ahead and not look at hateful speech, that we're encouraging them, because that's the kind of people we are. We don't, that takes, when we read something that's posted poorly or nasty, that we're playing the other half of the game of tennis with someone, and you go, I'm gonna. And that's, of course, what you think, but I think we need to talk about it out loud as adults. So, we wrote letters of encouragement to every student,
Which I
Menifee
think is
Matters
awesome.
did. And so they were personal from someone who knew them. And we've got T-shirts for every kid, so there's gonna be camaraderie. No matter if you're the worst kid in the classroom, everybody's gonna have a cute little t-shirt to wear.
You have Menifee Matters Day at schools, and they all wear their shirts.
I don't know if they're gonna end up doing that or
I
not,
would,
but
I think that would be really good.
I think Friday is Menifee Matters Day would be really good,
Mhm.
and,
You know what?
and they've got a curriculum
Could
committed to.
we as the board get some shirts? Could we buy some shirts? It'd be great to wear them to some of our meetings. Would it be all right? I mean, it would
Absolutely.
be great.
Yeah. And we might be able to purchase from Halfway some of the green Menifee Matters ones or the gray one.
Mhm.
The gray one just says Wildcats or something, it's very, straight.
Well, it'd be good if we had one that says actually Menifee Matters
Yeah.
on it, I'd be willing to buy mine for sure, but I think it would be great if we could do that.
I'll talk to Amy from Pathways and see what we can do. One of my questions is from a Menifee Matters point of view, and I know this is jumping right down to sharing, do we want to write the same type of notes of encouragement to our faculty? Because we're also asking the faculty to really use expert communication skills. Using I statements, using reflective statements and things like that. And that's not the most natural thing. And when I've taught for 20 years, and now you need to practice saying things with an I statement and encouraging students to do the same thing. I mean, we're asking them to make a really big leap for our students, and I felt like, and I thought station, that we write something to, and pretty much, I don't think it's going to be a big transition for K through 5. It's really going to be a big transition for 6 through 12. It's those teachers that are going to really, embody that non-bullying, that tolerant attitude that we are trying to get our kids to have towards one another.
Is this group talking to the councils at the high school, middle school?
Oh my gosh, there's a whole curriculum that's gonna be tied to all this, and all three
So the
schools.
site-based councils have already approved it?
The site-based councils have approved it, and I guess, part of their PD, their suicide prevention PD is intensively tied to, decreasing, opening up emotional communication and using I don't know what all it's gonna include, but it sounded pretty expansive.
Okay, I got a question.
Yes.
What, is there anything out there for like parents that to know how to deal with if their child comes home and says, okay, this boy is calling me names and blah, 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 instead of saying, oh, ignore him? Is there anything to
Yes.
educate these parents on how to handle situations like that?
I think that there is going to be, and I think it's gonna be in levels. I think the first thing is that we need to be able to prevent the emergency, that we're gonna do the QPR, thank you. Which is to question, are you feeling suicidal? P, to persuade, you're a very important person to me, don't hurt yourself, I know we can get through this together. Or, let's go find a teacher, a counselor, someone who can help us out. And then, then the teacher knows QPR, and then the Pathways person is actually the R. That we have mental health counseling with much higher accessibility than we used to have.
I'm just, because I know that there's parents out there that's the easy way out. Oh, just ignore it, just ignore. Well, when you're at school and that person's calling you dirty names and stuff like that, it's hard to
Or,
ignore,
once again,
And you've got
that
parents that just
plan.
sometimes don't want to get involved, or just, it's just, I don't know.
I think that, I think that with the Oveus, we're gonna talk more about more different feeling words, about trying to use an I statement, because it's fair if you're being picked on to say, I don't like it when you say things like that to me. I'm getting the heck out of here because I can't take that kind of conversation anymore. I am turning off my phone if you keep on sending me things that say that kind of stuff.
oh, this is at school, this kind of stuff goes on.
Yeah.
It's at school, but.
Yeah, and, you know, to, you know, start to use some of those things. I think that some of the other things you do too is you say to your child, you don't have permission to slug them, but you sure as heck can say, I'm not listening to that. I am out of here. I am gonna talk it over with the teacher, or I am hanging out with some different friends today. We're gonna be using the buddy benches, which may be a little bit helpful too when kids are feeling some, you know, like they don't have a place to play anymore, they're having trouble with their friends, that they're gonna be invited to another group of friends, and that we're gonna be talking about empathy and standing in another person's shoes and things like that.
Did you find everything?
Yeah, hold back a little bit on our goals a little bit because they're still waiting for federal guidelines to make sure that all the 5-star and the 4-star rating is going to be approved. So
Okay.
she said to really just focus on the vision
So
and
we'll take
mission,
number 5 off. I
and then
guess,
kind of
and
leave our
add
goals and kind of see where we, once
Okay.
that's approved.
Okay, all right. That sounds like a plan. Okay, so.
But
we'll-
she said our goals and vision and mission and goals should focus on those 6 things that Mrs. Crowley brought with us tonight of the
Oh, they do.
the achievement gap, the
Right.
gap closure,
Efficiency, growth,
Yes.
graduation
Mhm.
rate, readiness, achievement gap,
and all 3 of
opportunity and
those
access and local
ones
measure.
lead right into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just said they're very hesitant right now since it's not been approved within,
To have us put that
to
as
have
a
us
goal.
put that as a
Okay.
goal,
Okay.
yes.
All right, so
That's understandable.
we will, let's just go with 4 right now?
Yes.
Okay. And we will come back to this one maybe January when it's time to review it.
Yes.
Surely by then it'll be more solidified.
She was anticipating in October,
Okay,
maybe after the October board meeting.
Yeah, okay.
okay, great.
She said she says though that we was not the first district to be asking these same questions, that other districts were doing the same thing. She just says that she would be very reluctant without it being passed through federal.
So, and was there any clarification as to the 5-star being a district rating or only a school rating?
She said she didn't even want to get into
Okay.
that.
She
So,
didn't want to talk about
Okay.
it.
Okay, so we've got 4 great goals that you can use to help in your decision making. Again, we have to remember that you've got the what. This is what you want to see happen. He's got the how. So next steps, we've got the goals. Your next step is to provide the resources. Make sure anytime.
You're getting a really